Hello, my friends on YouTube. Today's video is about the collapse of Islam and the crossroads we are in. There are a few things that happened on the worldwide scale, also in the Middle East and the Islamic region. And to understand these things, uh, people from the West do not really understand Islam very well. And people from Muslim countries, they really don't understand the West and other cultures very well. I've been living outside of the Middle East region for a long time, and I actually lived in different countries in the East and in the West. And I try to look at things objectively, although I am against Islam, and I'm saying it out loud. Islam is a bad ideology, and if you're a religious person, Islam is an evil ideology. Okay? So let's put this aside so nobody will accuse me, because I get people accusing, some people are accusing me that how much I've been paid. If you look where I'm sitting, does that look like some place is paid by somebody? Do you see the luxury I'm in? Do I look like paid? Anyway, those who curse and use foul languages and the Prophet Muhammad is the best. You want to tell me that he's the best? Tell me what's the best thing he did that nobody else did like it. Okay? Now, one person was telling me that he is perfect man. Define perfection before you tell me he's perfect. What is perfection? Because he managed to have sex with 9 wives at the same night without washing. What is perfection? Anyway, put this aside just to make the point. Okay, this video it consists of 2 parts. One part is on the worldwide scale, the other part is about the regional scale. On the worldwide scale, we see what's called the yellow vest, started in France because of the salaries of the people, and it's not meeting the demand of prices. The prices and the salaries are not meeting. People working so hard, but they cannot make ends meet. So obviously there is a breakdown in the government, and President Macron, he is not clear about what to do. So now we see on the worldwide scale that the French people are rebelling against the government, and they are calling for the President Macron to resign, the resignation of the president. And they don't seem to be backing up. Okay, we look in also in Venezuela, and there's similar situation. Now there is another president, a person self-appointed by the majority, I suppose. He what's his name? Juan Guido says, I am the president because the election was fraudulent and I am the legitimate president. And other countries like Canada, United States, Brazil, I think also Mexico, backing him up that he is the legitimate president, and the presidency was hijacked by Maduro. Anyway, the fact is there is also kind of division also in Venezuela, in France and in Venezuela, that gave courage to the people in Sudan, in the Middle East region, to rise up against the president. And they are the leader of the opposition party publicly encouraging people to demonstrate and calling for the president to resign. This is unheard of before, because this, if you really look at it carefully, yeah, France and Venezuela are asking the president to resign. But in the Middle East, in the Islamic countries like Sudan and Egypt and also Tunisia, by the way, when you call for the resignation of the president or the king, you are actually not going against the leader, the president or the king. You are going against Islam. Because according to Islam and what Muhammad said, if your leader beat you up, you ought to follow him anyway. Even if he's a bad leader, your responsibility is to follow him. So even people, they are Islamic fanatic, Islam, all of these people that they are demonstrating, actually, I would say maybe 90% of them are Islamic oriented, Muslim oriented people. Many of them are fanatic, but they are calling for the resignation of the leader. That means they are actually going, their inner nature is telling them this is wrong, and we have to rebel against what's wrong. So they are actually indirectly also, while they are rebelling against the leader, they are rebelling against what Muhammad said and did. So this is actually, for me, this is a clear sign that Islam has no power over the people. They are just repeating, they are actually brainwashed, you could say. They are repeating the nonsense that we've been digesting for eons. That is on the international scale. On the Middle Eastern scale, even though some of it intermingle, but anyway, the United Nations is saying that that period of President Sisi in Egypt is the most dangerous time for the opposition to say anything. That means if you say anything, your fate will be unknown. You may be killed, you may be put away, who knows? And that was practiced in the former Soviet Union, in China, North Korea, all the communist and socialist countries, they have this practice. However, when that iron grip becomes so hard, there is a time that people explode. And this happened in many places, including the large country of the Soviet Union. So you could actually control people for a period of time, as President Mubarak did, as Saddam Hussein did. But at a certain point, people explode. So there is also division even in Egypt. And recently also, the security blanket that Saudi Arabia used to enjoy because of the oil money, suddenly this blanket is lifted up. The United Nations is actually sending an investigating team to investigate the murder of the journalist Jamal Khashoggi. That means this young kid in Saudi Arabia, the clown prince, I call him the clown prince, will be gone soon, I hope, because sometimes money changes the heart of people. So, but if that team is honest, this boy in Saudi Arabia should be removed and should face trial. That also shows us that there is division in the Islamic world and things are not as stable as they look. The last thing is the European Union added Saudi Arabia to be one of the nations that support terrorism, as if this is new knowledge or something that you didn't know for 1,400 years. If you read Quran command the Muslim to be a terrorist. The United Nations since 1948, you didn't know that? Now only 2019 you recognize that Saudi Arabia supports terrorism? Saudi Arabia, any Islamic country, if you profess and proclaim that Islam is a religion, you are to conduct terrorism. That's an obligation from Quran. But anyway, it shows us that even the European Union is splitting from the Islamic, even though it's late, but better late than never, is splitting and taking that blanket off Saudi Arabia, the blanket that it used to enjoy. Now, all these are signs to show that Islam, at least in trouble, and in trouble that it will not recover from it. And now we are really in a crossroads. And the question is, what are we going to do? We speak next video about this. Thank you very much. And we welcome your comments. And even if you curse, that's okay. I will not bother to answer you. But for those who have questions, I would be more than happy to try to answer them. And we hope to hear from you. Thank you. See you again.